We are still
Hey,
on.
where's our intro?
We're still on express standby. And
You're watching the Tesla Life live with your host, Mark Coglan.
I locked us into Monday's express settings.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Tesla Live number 434 on the 22nd of October, 2025. And of course, today was earnings call day for Q3. And we just got finished listening to that call, and we got some information that we wanted to share from it. But first, with me, as always, my co-host, we have Mr. Casey Green joining us from Wawa. How are you doing today, Casey?
Doing all right. And like Patrick, I was listening to the call in the car, so I didn't take any notes, but there was a lot in there.
Don't worry, I got the notes.
All right, Mark's got us covered.
My air conditioner froze itself out a couple times since we last spoke. I don't know if it's an issue with like one of the blend doors or what, but it wasn't a user-facing code. I was like, man, it's hot in here. Turn it down some more, and went into service mode. I was going to check on service mode just to see if there are any codes anyway. Then it was hot, so I was like, I have a reason to check now. And it said climate control reduced because of evaporator coils to prevent evaporator from freezing or something to that effect. I was like, oh, well, that's helpful. And it went away by the next drive, or no, the drive after the next, but it was uncomfortable.
Yep. With us as well, Mr. Patrick Connor from the West Coast. How are you today, sir?
Hello, Tesla Nation. I am doing good. As Casey said, I listened to the call, but in the car, and it was with the road noise, and there were some parts of it that were a little too quiet to really hear, and I had the volume cranked up. So I don't know if they were having some audio issues or what, but hey, look, we got Lee and Anders in the chat. Hey, how's it going?
Anders is up late again, or early, depending on how you look at it. But I wanted to, they were using the old USB conference microphone in their office, and audio is not great for them. Like for a technology company, they really do not know what they're doing when it comes to putting on an audio presentation. They should work on that.
The background for everything was much nicer looking, so maybe at some point we get slides on there. Now that they've got some technology on the graphic.
We shall see. But with the call, Patrick, you're gonna read off something for us?
Yeah. So I grabbed their shareholder deck, and I just wanted to read a summary of the intro section here. So in Q3, Tesla achieved record vehicle deliveries globally, while achieving record energy storage deployments. Also, storage across residential, industrial, and utility sectors. This resulted in both record revenue and free cash flow in Q3. So they've launched the Model YL, the Model Y Performance, as well as the Model 3 and Model Y Standard in the US. So those are their most affordable vehicles. They also unveiled Megapack 3 and Mega Block, which simplify the large battery install, reducing cost and deployment time. So Tesla believes that the scale and cost structure will enable them to navigate this shifting market dynamics across the globe more effectively than their peers, and with advanced AI making their products the most compelling in the market. So almost everything they're doing now has some level of AI in it. With the vehicles, it's for autonomous driving. With their storage packs, it's for making arbitrage decisions, when to buy, when to sell. Auto bidder, we've talked about that many times on the show. So they are a real world AI company, not just a chatbot company.
Yeah, absolutely. So they talked about Power Pack, Mega Pack 4. That we got the deployed amount of FSD was just what 4%, I believe you said. Mark, did you catch that
I
number?
thought he said 12, but
12.
again,
12. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like I said, I was driving. So 12% is still quite low. So there's
but that's only one market, right? The U.S. Where else can you?
Canada, Mexico,
Okay, North
Australia.
America. But I mean, they're huge in China, and they can't use it
Yeah,
there
China.
yet.
Well, they
Yeah.
can't use all of it in China, but they've got most of it in China. And then he kept saying robot army and talking about his control. Like, dude, those two don't go together, evil villain guy. And I get where he was going. Is let somebody else come in after him, and we don't know their motives. If there is the possibility for a robot army,
Right. He kept talking about a robot army. That is not the way you put confidence into the marketplace.
That's something you should strike from your messaging is robot army. It's not when you talk about that we want to make sure that Optimus is safe. Just don't mention the word army. That's just not something to do.
Yeah. The Legion was like weird and nerdy, but it wasn't scary. And then he one thing he said was he wanted to be able to be voted out if he goes crazy. But has anyone done the math on that? And then also he said that they can't get a preferred stock now. Is it literally true? There's not a path for them to do that, or is that just not something they don't want to do?
It's not easy, but so he mentioned how Google and others, Facebook has super voting shares, and only founders have that. But like Google, they split into GOOG and GOGL, so they have two classes of shares, and then all the new shares get issued as non-voting shares. Yeah. So they could do that, and then over time issue the voting shares to the insiders. But so just giving him more shares is the easiest way to solve the problem, but not the only way.
That's what I was thinking. It didn't sound. It sounded like something needed, like citation needed. He has a lot of those lately, but it's like it doesn't sound right. Like I know it can't possibly be easy, but it can't be impossible either. Guess not.
He made it kind of sound impossible.
Yeah,
like it was kind of like Google and Meta and others have. They put that into effect at the start of incorporation.
Yeah, if you put it out there
public.
before you go public, or when you start, period, it's a lot easier. But
and Tesla didn't do that at all, so that's something that's not open to them. But we shall see. Another thing that he talked about in his opening statement was about it was pretty AI intensive. He was talking about AI cars, about this basically shockwave of vehicles. When you're putting out like 1.6 million vehicles a year, he was talking about how that these cars at any point could wake up to the AI revolution, basically indicating that they could go FSD overnight, is what he was getting at, and that their growth of people that have FSD could double and triple and quadruple quite easily once people understand the benefit of FSD.
He said what? This is something close to 3 million around one of those sound bites there. Was he talking the capacity?
Well, he said 2 million more a year.
That was a question that came in from an analyst saying you're at 3 million. And he came back and said, well, we're not at 3 million.
Not quite 3 million. Okay.
It would take us about 24 months to scale up to 3 million is what he put out.
Oh, but they started with that. They started with we must massively increase cars now. So everybody who kept saying that they forgot about cars.
Well, he indicated that they believe that FSD is basically solved, is what he was saying. There's edge cases. There's going to be continued development. There are certainly many things to be done, but what he was saying is basically it is solved. They are now in a spot where they need to be able to increase production to meet demand. And he left it at that. Later on, an analyst said 3 million cars is what you're at. He corrected them, said we're more like at 1.8. And to scale up to 3 million, probably take about 24 months or less.
Oh, they use the Brian White approach.
So that's what he was indicating on that. And then he went on off of the cars. He started to talk about Optimus and version 3, which is not available as of yet. He believes that as of Q1, there will be an unveil of Optimus version 3.
Yep, and FSD 14 Lite.
Yeah. So if you have hardware 3, you might be able to get version 14 next year. I think he said Q2.
Yep.
So that it's interesting that they're still working hard on hardware 3 when from the last call it sounded like they realize it's not going to be able to cut it. But they're still they haven't given up yet.
I think the deciding factor with that, Patrick, is the number of hardware 3s that are on the road, and realizing that we have a large hardware component to swap out if we don't get something that runs respectably on hardware.
Well, plus, if you let it sit there for 2-3 years while you wait for the next iteration of the hardware to come out, it won't go well. So. You give us a little bone, a treat while they figure out how to do the hardware rollout, and it's like, it's not fully there, but you have most of the features, something to that effect.
Yeah. One of the questions I thought was interesting related to this was one of the say questions. I think it was suggested when autonomy is solved and you have it says that you can level 5 take a nap in the back and whatever, and that's all perfectly legal and allowed. And not incredibly dangerous like it would be today, offer people that have paid for FSD, that have hardware 3 cars, an incentive to upgrade. Instead of doing a hardware upgrade, say, hey, well, here we'll give you a great trade-in deal with some extra bonus, amount of dollars. And that's an interesting idea.
It could work if they do it like an actual human, not like Tesla. Tesla's never been good on these things. They don't value the old cars very highly, and their timing is just really crappy for anybody who has to actually come out of pocket on it. So I don't think that's a fair solution for most of the customer base that hasn't upgraded yet. It's a good option for those who are ready, or if they keep it there durably and not just, here's 2 weeks before the end of the quarter, let's do this. Oh, you missed it.
Right. Yes, they do. They would have to give a significant time window. And it'd be nice if they just said, okay, here's the 2 upgrade paths. We can upgrade you to new hardware 5 or whatever version is at that time. Or you can buy a new car that has hardware 5 already and you get this discount. And then when on your trade-in, we will resell it as a no FSD car and also make it clear to whoever's buying it, this cannot be upgraded. Well, I guess if they wanted to pay for a hardware 5 upgrade, but they would have to know that up front that this car is not sold with FSD unless you pay such and such a price to have it added.
Yeah.
Right. Or bring back enhanced autopilot. This is FSD Lite. Sorry, that's all you get.
Right.
Yeah.
Another thing touched upon early during the call was about the robotaxi. Still in 2 markets, which of course are Austin and San Francisco. And again, Elon had indicated that they would be in another 8 to 10 metro markets, new ones, by the end of 2025.
All right.
And I thought, okay, that's 2 months and a few days away. He indicated the markets were in Nevada, Florida, Arizona. So they have submitted paperwork to ask for permission to start up in those states. I just think it's kind of optimistic that 8 to 10 new markets would come in the next, let's say, 10 weeks.
2 months. Yeah.
The only one of those that hasn't seen them as an entity yet is Florida. The others all have had some level of the automated testing with reporting and the permits, etc. So it could be a simpler task to expand those than. But Florida's brand new, so that's interesting.
And
before you leave that one, Mark, I did catch when he said that 8 to 10 additional markets to the 2 they already have. So in the last quarterly call, he said they would be covering about half of the U.S. population by the end of the year. So then, basing off that, I went and looked it up, and we determined it was 37 metro areas that they would have to be in. So now they're only going to be in 12. So there's no way they're going to be covering half of the U.S. population. So that was a step back. Maybe not explicitly stated that way, but it absolutely is.
But did you include stuff like New York and all the large Californias? Okay, so never mind then. So then that's definitely a big step back.
Mm-hmm.
And,
or is it just late? Like, are they going to get it in quarter one?
Right. Yeah, I'm sure they'll get to half the U.S. population at some point, but it's just not going to happen this year.
If they do it in next quarter 4, that's not quite the same as this. Oh, we missed it by 20 days. It fell into quarter 1.
Another bit of information with the robotaxi is they were talking about the safety driver in a few different exchanges. And even in new markets, Tesla had indicated that even if we're not required to have a safety driver, we're going to put a safety driver in place until we're confident that there's not going to be an unexpected incident. So
that's good.
Tesla's taking the additional, obviously precaution to make sure that they're comfortable with what's been going on in the market, and they're not really upset with having the media indicate that that there's a safety driver in place. Like that, for them, that's something that they're going to go with, and it doesn't matter what it looks like from the outside. They're putting safety first.
Would you rather them have a person in the front seat with their finger on the door button, or would you rather the first headline about how it scuffed a bicycle or took the mirror off a parked car?
Yeah.
Right.
So it just makes sense that's but of course investors are looking for, oh well, it's solved. Then let's just get rid of the safety drivers and let's publicize that and start throwing out videos on that, and that'll just push the stock higher faster.
And that's the kind of CEO you don't want in charge of the robot army.
That's so short-term sighted that they have to think long-term, right? You don't want to pump the stock for one quarter and then have it crash and end the company. That's just not smart. So they do need safety drivers for a few months to make sure things are working the way that they should be, and that they're not hitting whatever intervention button they have on their center console or the door button or whatever. And after you have that data collected and you see that it's safe, then you can remove them. But if that takes 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever it takes, do it right, do it safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Digital Blade doesn't mind his own personal army of robots, but I would be scared of the digital, so that doesn't really matter.
This guy's name is Digital Blade. Okay. That sounds like robots with swords.
There's nothing that says that he can't give his Optimus a large knife if it's already having a small knife to prepare food. So the other thing, while we're on AI, they mentioned that yes, Samsung is in line for future, but I believe that it's actually was kind of a pull up as far as many folks were concerned that that both TSMC and Samsung are going to be making the Tesla spec chip for AI 5. So not just AI 6 is going to be
in the US, Arizona, and Texas.
That part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And some of the AI or the AI 5 stats, well, the big one was 40 times better than i4, AI4. So, and again,
40x.
And again, this is interesting because, of course, unlike other manufacturers of anything, Tesla is designing the chip. They're customizing it based on the needs and the needs that are not required for these chips. So they're saying some of the compute is already in this. We don't need any of that. We can slash that off and enhance other sections of the chip that would make it faster for the tasks that we require it to do, as opposed to a standard chip that has to be an all-around good chip to handle all these different functions, where we know that 25% of what this chip is doing has no effect on what we're asking it to do.
Right. Yeah. That anything you have, any block there is going to be using power. It has to have interconnect. So anything you can take out that you don't need, which is great. That's the difference between a specialized solution, a custom bespoke solution versus a generic solution. NVIDIA sells their chips. They're for broad use and lots of applications. So they need to have a lot of things that if you have we are trying to make a chip that does autonomous driving, you don't need a general purpose GPU.
Yeah. The only concern I had with all the items you mentioned that they were taking out is, what if you come up with a new technique and you find you don't have the hardware for that?
Then you make
I would think that after the number of iterations that you've already done with FSD, is that probably identified pretty well what they need around them in order to succeed.
Yeah, you did say that for sure.
Yeah.
And they have been using those general blocks. Like the reason that they can port things from hardware 4 back to hardware 3 is in hardware 3 they can emulate the features that are primitives in hardware 4 in the general purpose GPU they still had in 3. But so it gives you that flexibility, but it's at a cost. It's slower, it's more power, it's more real estate.
Especially if you're not going to use it, because if you're doing it with another technique, then that's a lot of real estate that you could give to the new stuff. So it works both ways.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Because if you can fit it in the same footprint, it's going to cost you roughly the same. It's going to use roughly the same power at idle, etc. So it's not a bad thing. It's just I was thinking that if it's completely gone, you can't use that, and then you got to make a new one. If it's something you decide, we could have used that, like a wiper sensor.
Yeah, they started talking about with these chips about how when they're idle, you mentioned idle. This is something they've talked about in the past. Can they use that for distributed general purpose compute? And if you opt in your vehicle, what could you get out of that? But that seems so far down the line that it's an interesting thought, but I don't see it ever. Well, maybe not ever. I don't want to say ever, but certainly not in the next year being anything meaningful for us as investors or drivers. Yeah. But it's a little too far out.
Also, if it can't do any of the general purpose stuff, are they going to make a translation layer where they would broker it out, or does that cut out a lot of the opportunity for them and by proxy us to make a little extra cash while the car is just sitting there on the plug?
That would be nice.
If you can't do the work.
Yeah. Another piece of information that was off my radar until the call was a question about, or was an answer, really an unprompted answer, about a solar community being manufactured at Giga Buffalo. There was a talk about this solar community product that would allow a setup of solar, I guess, in a community that would share the wealth amongst the community that it's bought for. So kind of like a centralized solar field that would feed a community. Could be housing group, could be a condo, could be many things. But Giga Buffalo is producing these, and the deployment of this is first quarter of next year for its first one. So that's kind of interesting. I'm going to look into that a little bit more after the call, but see exactly what it is, because I'm really unsure. And this, again, was the first I've heard of it.
They talked about having their own custom panels being manufactured now that were going to be more aesthetic and high performance. So that's something they've been talking about doing in Giga Buffalo for a long time. Ever since they
2016?
ever since they acquired Solar City.
Yeah.
And because they had some stuff going on there, but they decided that they were going to the service side, install side, and now they're outsourcing that. So now they're going back to the hardware part of it.
Yeah, but that's not so bad if you can order a phalanx of power walls and then 3 pallets of these solar, and then your installer deals with it, not Tesla. I think that's probably the best balance, just like we see with how they're doing power walls today.
Right. Yeah. So I'm really interested to see what their panels are going to look like, and if they're going for these premium panels, how competitive will they be? Because they've already got their high end product would be the solar shingles, whatever you want to call them, Tesla glass or whatever. But it's interesting that they are now also going to be making their own panels.
Yeah, if they're the full size panels, I think that's actually probably an optimization, because that's something that the installers are used to working with versus whole new roof, and then permits in some places with that.
But it's pretty much a commodity. Solar panels are super cheap from a lot of other sources. So I'm not. It'll be interesting to see what they've added to the mix.
It had to be significant based on what he says about phones and other types of commodity markets.
Because they don't usually just compete on price. They have something cool that the others don't have.
And it was interesting, as Patrick mentioned, that there's something to do with the exterior look of them, you know, to make them premium, to look aesthetically nice from the outside.
And then this does bring us back to the Megapack 4, which is supposed to replace the substation. You don't need to have a substation installed to put it in, or get a substation, and then you can put your fleet of Megapacks, and that's good news right there as well. Because
if it has all that functionality built in, then that makes it much more grid friendly, much more plug and play, and that is exactly what they talked about in the intro about deployment time.
Yeah, and if you're on a, they said, you know, utilities aren't the fastest, but some utilities are even slower than that, and they've been having trouble obtaining like transformers for new projects, not necessarily the replacement transformers, but as we discussed previously, you know, if they come in and say, hey, you know, we had a storm and we need eight transformers per block, come on, they can get them. They will go ahead of the line of a data center, of whoever, but for the new projects, they aren't all exercising what they could do to make it happen, and this would solve that, because you can just crane it in, boom, put it where you need it, and it's good to go. That was following a discussion about how much power we generate, and perhaps not slowing things down at night, but instead pumping them into batteries and then running the same speed during the day while running the battery, and then we can, what would he say, double what we without spending an extra dime and trying to get power
money. On infrastructure.
Well, not all infrastructure, but like the generators are extremely, like, if you thought the transformers were
underutilized,
and then just the permits, the siting, the environmental, I complained about the nuclear plant that South Carolina tried to build and dug a hole and built it back in for $9 billion. It's not as bad if you just get like a gas plant, but they're still not easy. And if you can skip it, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, on a small scale, that's what I'm doing here with our house. Is we use the grid at night, but during the day we're running on batteries or solar. And so from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. I'm off grid, because that's when it's more expensive. So I'm only on grid after those hours, and I'm using it to the grid to run the home at that time and to recharge the batteries. And I only charge up to, I don't know, it depends on what the next day's forecast is, because the AI is smart enough to look at that and figure out how much solar it's going to make. And then it'll charge up to, sometimes it leaves it as low as 20%. Other times it takes it up to 70%, depending on what the next day's solar forecast is.
And that's the Autobidder sub AI, or the one you've been talking about?
It's in Powerwall. It's built in with it's part of the Powerwall gateway setup. So nice. If there's I was complaining about it on the show at the beginning of the year. Our utility changed their time of use, time of day policy, and it took weeks before it figured it out. And I mean, even though I'd updated it in the software, it's like, okay, now I do this, and then it's like, okay, no, you came on at 7 or at 6 because that was the old time, but the new time is 7, and so it takes a while for their AI to learn, but once it does, it works great.
Nice.
Kind of like a Nest thermostat. It just learns over time based on what happens in the house.
Oh,
right.
Speaking of AI and batteries, you guys know I have the off-brand batteries at the house, but I had another one that I was running my servers on. It popped on Monday. I started work, and poof! This room went out. The breaker went out, and so that is the Zendur Superbase V or 5, and it's gone. The cells are good, but the AC equipment is gone.
Oops.
Tangent. Sorry.
Derek, sorry to hear your luck. Second windshield replacement in less than 3 weeks. That is not good at all. Ouch is right. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so, interesting. It went 6 years before with none, so now they're happening. I wonder if there's some construction project that's putting gravel on the road somewhere or something, because it seems like there must be some cause. Something's changed. It's not just bad luck.
Yeah, I was also going to ask, has this experience made you consider the Tesla windshield program, or are you in a state where some number of them are free per year?
Yeah, so that in a nutshell is, the earnings call. Not all of it, obviously. We're not going to go through it and take an hour of your time, but some of the basics that we thought we would touch upon. Want to hit a couple other stories as well that's happened this week.
Yeah.
And this one's kind of interesting if you're in the U.S. If you're considering a lease of a Tesla vehicle, we've had a sudden drop of 23% in lease prices on 3s and Ys, and it can't last for too long. So as a PSA, if you were waiting for a lease deal, this is probably the one to grab, and you should grab it quickly, because the writing on this is that it isn't going to last most likely for another, till the end of the month is what we're guessing.
Yeah, they don't intend for it to last very long. I got an email from Tesla hoping that I would accelerate my plans. I'm looking for it now. For the exact wording, I think it was yesterday.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask what makes you think it won't last long, but if that's what they put in there.
Yeah, and we also got notification that as of November 1st, prices of the 3 and Y are going up. It's right on their website now that when you log in, it says November 1st, prices are going up. So
so then lease prices would probably go up too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so for mine was not 3 and Y. It was actually custom, or at least targeted, I should say. Tesla says drive home a Cybertruck for $699 per month. But leasing prices will go up in November. Place your order and apply soon to be eligible. So,
that has been the motto on the show. If you find what you want, don't hesitate.
Yeah, just get going. Yeah, absolutely. And that seems to be more true in the last few months with the ending of the credit, and now this good lease deal and of course a price increase being announced. So keep that in mind. And Derek said he has joined the $12 monthly program for the windshield. So that, of course, Derek, is also insurance. You will never get another crack in your windshield going in your life if you're on the insurance program. That's been my experience, anyways. So another bit of information, if we're talking about some gambling here, is Las Vegas. We've talked about this previously. The Loop in Vegas is now getting some FSD testing. So they are doing some testing this week. It was announced. There's a video actually that the Boring Company put out with one of the initial test drives with no driver to see how it would handle the underground loop. And they will be continuing to do this and dial it in. And again, I was kind of surprised that this has taken this long, but it is Leased is now something that they have the the programming ability to do. They've got time, and then maybe this is from Elon's statement that FSD is basically solved, and they now have other software engineers time to go in different directions possibly. But this was announced at the beginning of the week.
Yeah. So
that's great. And still in Vegas, another bit of information is that the CyberTruck was picked up by the city of Las Vegas Metropolitan Police fleet. They added 10 units to their fleet and introduced them to the media just this week. So that is interesting. This is the first police fleet that I know of beyond one truck that has rolled out. There was a couple, I guess, in the UAE did something with like 3 trucks, but this 10 is a new number, a higher number than anybody else that I'm aware of, except for, get this, SpaceX. Hundreds of Cybertrucks have been shipped as the SpaceX fleet, and XAI, or is that what it's called? XAI. They will also be partaking in a Cybertruck fleet. So this kind of tells me that there's a lot of extra production around that's being moved to other parts of the company or adjacent companies, sister companies, that can take up some of the slack. So because I don't believe that this was ordered, like SpaceX indicated that they might be taking over 1,000 of these trucks eventually.
Wow.
What are they going to use them for?
A few hundred have been already sent to Starbase, and there's a few photos on the internet of them lined up. But I really don't know, because of course we've got a ton of contractors that are at Starbase.
Oh
no, we lost Mark.
Hit a blip.
Nope, I'm back. Don't know what happened there, but we noticed that Starbase, with all its contractors, they have hundreds of pickup trucks that are roaming around that base at all times, day and night, doing their jobs. But I had a feeling that these were independent contractors that were using their own vehicles as part of their jobs.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure where all the other Cybertrucks would be used, in what capacity.
For XAI, I figured it was probably just as a battery backup.
That's funny.
Yeah, just roll them in, plug them in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But this is kind of interesting news that that they're taking that many. Obviously, they're not going to be. I would guess they wouldn't be sold. Would you think at regular retail price?
Probably. Because
they would sell them at full pop.
If he didn't give his mom a discount, why would he give his company a discount?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there is no employee purchase price. It's the same price everywhere, is what Elon has always said.
Yeah, they do have a fleet program, but I don't think it's fleet pricing. It's just fleet control and management.
Yeah. And of course, SpaceX certainly can afford it, with the Starlink project still growing in leaps and bounds. Really, I saw some of the numbers on that. It's remarkable that has been such a success story for them, and their monthly revenue continues just to ramp up like a hockey stick. So
the SpaceX is a good synergy for that truck, because it's the same steel, blah blah.
And Lee Moon indicates that he's heard that some Cybertrucks are being used for supercharger service, according to a Tesla tech that he spoke with in Ocala, Florida, in this past summer.
Yeah, we saw it here on the one of the autonomous parking videos where a Cybertruck had the company, like it was security or something, blaze on by the autonomous car, whether it was the delivery or the one where it was going to the loading lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I was just looking for discounts. You were talking about, do they get a discount? The only discount I could find is the one for military, first responders, healthcare, teachers, and students.
Yep.
So
And then-
if
and then you
if
get-
you fall into that category, you can get a $500 discount, which used to be a $1,000 discount for veterans, and now they've expanded the program but reduced the amount.
Yeah.
And then if you work for them, you get FSD, which is significant, but
Oh yeah, that
you
makes
have to
sense.
work for them. Yeah,
And you're a beta tester.
yeah, that too.
So yeah, it's something that well, we had suspected that CyberTruck numbers had been falling for some time, and of course, if you're producing those, you're going to have to move them at some point. Being able to offload 1,000 or so to SpaceX, even more, would be very useful, and of course, service makes sense for that. Even mobile technician stuff, like if that's still going on in certain areas, that would be the truck to have, as opposed to a Model S or a Model X, because you could have the equipment in the back a lot more readily than you could inside the hatchback of a Model S.
And you could charge a car if it's on the roadside.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a CyberTruck would be the best, and then a surplus Model X used with no rear seating would be second best. Just because it's still got a little bit of room if you do that, but I don't see any reason not to use CyberTruck for this. Especially, remember they have the mini Ford Transits. CyberTruck is a better choice.
Yeah, for sure. And I haven't seen a Cybertruck as a service vehicle as of yet, but there has been a few photos that have circulated on the internet. So obviously they are out there, and of course our friend Lee actually spoke to a technician saying they were getting them. So
yeah, it's not a bad choice.
Yeah. Exactly.
So in the chat, they're asking about the Roadster. When are we going to see the new Roadster unveil?
As future product, it's not appropriate for this call.
Yep, was not addressed at all, and I'm not surprised. It's an easy out for them whenever something like that comes up. But there was an interview recently with Franz on
Ride the Lightning,
the unofficial Tesla podcast, Ride the Lightning, with Ryan McCaffrey, and Franz was prompted several times about Roadster and when it's coming and how could we expect it within a certain time frame. And he did his best to dodge the question, but eventually came back with, it's still on track for what we want to unveil. So what that means, as Derek said, December is good as guess as any. But I think Ryan had mentioned, well, would it be within the next 2 years, year? Yeah. And Franz didn't have any objection to a year. So he said, certainly, or something along that line. So,
certainly less than 2 years before it starts going to customers.
Certainly 2 years is much longer than 1 year.
Yeah. Speaking of our favorite spokespeople at the company, was that Lars on the call talking about Tesla Semi?
Yes, it was. So. It was. Yeah. And of course, the question that came in on Tesla Semi was, when will it have FSD? And it's like, okay, why would you even go there? Like, oh yeah, well, it's being introduced tomorrow, but the cars, they're going to be longer. So, like, obviously the answer is we have to get it working on the cars first. Then we can migrate some of those findings over to the Semi with its unique size and camera system.
His tech name is Car Alfred, and yours is named Batmobile. That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's I think that's about what we have for print this week on the Tesla Life. Live. It was, and of course, if you don't know, we put out a couple of express shows through the week as well, and those come up on Fridays and Mondays. So
Yeah, sometimes
be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Please give us the thumbs up on the video. It would really help us out. Get us in front of some more eyeballs, and that would be appreciated. But as Casey sets off the internal fireworks, we'll ask Patrick for some shoutouts.
As always, I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org, and I blog occasionally at carswithcords.net, where I write about my future free from fossil fuels. Thanks.
Very good. Casey, what do you got for us?
Well, as Mark said, catch us on the Expresses. On Sunday, catch us on youtube.com/Casey Green, x.com/gcustom, where we let's chat with Casey and friends. We have ourselves a wild bit of discussion, and who knows what it'll be on. It will be most likely on EVs and green stuff, saving money, making money on environmental type tech. So it's grounded, but it's not as focused as this one is.
Very good. Very good.
Let's see there.
And if you want to follow us through the week, you can find us on our X feed at the Tesla Life, and you can see what's happening in between shows. And we certainly want to thank those that have communicated to us in the chat room. Of course, we've got Derek, we got JT24, Lee Moon, Hockey Day, Digital Blade with his own army. So just leave him alone. But thanks, Digital Blade, for being there. Yeah. And we thank everyone for giving us a shout out in the chat. So, and if you're here and in the chat and haven't said anything, please send us a note, say hello, do something. Don't just sit there quietly ghosting us. Put a comment in so we can say hello to you. And with that said, we will get together next time and we will find out what's happening in the Tesla Life.
Stay positive. Test negative.
Thanks, Lee, for the music.